Okay.
Well, good evening. This is Suresh Shetty. I'm a host of this talk show. We are, continuing this for the fourth time. We have already finished three talk show. The first talk show, the theme was very clear: transformation leadership, which is in line with the focus of our ICF, India Coaching Federation. The second episode was based on situational leadership, and third episode, which was conducted earlier, which was based on the effective leadership. Now today's theme is all about a different topic within the parameters of various leadership norms. This is called the transformation process. We consider business as the aeroplane, and the leader who is taking control of the business is none other than the transformation pilot. So I'm happy to welcome two of our guests today. The first one and foremost, the founder of India Coaching Federation, Dr. Gautam, and he is privileged enough to spare his valuable time in spite of his tight and busy schedule. So welcome, Dr. Gautam, on this talk show. And I'm
Thank
also
you.
happy to welcome none other than our new guest, the fourth guest of this talk show, Mr. Maganti Muthukumar Swamy. Now, something about Mr. Muthukumar Swamy, I would like to just share that he is a person who believes in 3D. The first is determination, devotion, and dedication. If somebody wants to learn how to practice 3D, he's the right person who will be able to give you a lot of lessons how to implement 3Ds in his life. And he's become successful whatever he does in his life. So to brief about Mr. Muthukumar Swamy, the first and foremost, he's a double postgraduate. He has done his post-graduation in psychology as well as, he has done his MBA in HR. He has also done a lot of certification in terms of ethics management. He's also associated with environment, social entrepreneurship, and so on. He has got a lot of contribution towards various NGOs as well as corporate sectors like, Canara Bank. He is also associated with Wipro Technologies and so on. So phenomenal contribution in terms of social entrepreneurship, and I'm privileged to have guests like Mr. Muthukumar Swamy. So to begin with, the process of this talk show is we'll have three questions to the guests, but this time we are more interested to learn the expertise of Dr. Gautam because he is a subject matter expert on transformation that will have an impact not only on the job but on career as well as business and relationship and life. So the focus, my request, my appeal to Dr. Gautam will be rather, would like to know much about, his expertise about and his perspectives, his views about the transformation, how a transformation process can be impacted and create an influence on individual. So we'll begin with the first question to Mr. Muthukumar Swamy. The question is, as we said, the theme of the talk show is, the organization, business organization is like an aeroplane, and if you are a transformation leader, you are a pilot of that particular aeroplane. So when we talk about, having a compelling transformation plan in place, how you as a leader, your experience when you have designed such plan in your former association with, your corporates, and how you have implemented, how was your experience? Would like to share a little bit about that experience and how you have steered out the organization as a pilot. Over to Mr. Muthukumar Swamy.
Thank you, Sureshji, and namaskar, everybody. Thank you, Gautamji, for having me on this wonderful platform. I've heard about this platform, and you said three people had come earlier, and I was also able to watch Facebook Live, some of your guest speakers. It was such a wonderful platform, and I'm really honored to be here today. You asked a very, very interesting question, and one of the things that always comes to my mind when you talk about leader being a pilot is that story that almost resonates with everyone who is trying to lead a team. We know that a bus or a train has a very clear path. Either there is the rails or there is the road. But when you are flying an aircraft, there is only an imaginary flight path. So, how does the flight stay on course? And I think with all the navigational capabilities, even of the autopilot, some of the critical things is to be able to take off and land and to manage the turbulence. So the imaginary flight path, of course, is not visible. So we need all the tools and techniques for us to continuously keep navigating. And just like anything that needs to go from one place to another, point A to B, you know where your destination is and you know where you're starting. But if you are not clear, even though you have a plan, you have a imaginary flight path, most of the time your flight is either to the left or right or up or down. So this constant navigation is what helps us to get to our destination on time every time. That's what great pilots do. And whatever we experience in between, the turbulence and the challenges, they are able to negotiate with their experience. And that is what the training is all about. So if you look at the manuals that they have and the kind of checks that they do, as they push back, they check every part of it. They check the technology, they check whether everything is working the way it's supposed to, and then only there is a go ahead even to get on the runway. So if you look at my own experience, I started off my career right from the lower rung. I was into transactional stage. I was not even a leader. You could call me a manager of certain operations. So it used to be managing operations, reporting to the boss man or whoever it is, and looking at how we can grab the incentives so that whatever work was allotted to us completed. So target completion goals, and that's it. The accountability was only towards managing those transactions. So that is how I started my career, and I didn't much think about what was my leadership style and all that. So maybe if you look at about first 5 6 7 years of my career, it could be definitely what you call transactional and laissez-faire, because accountability was only towards completing whatever was given to me. And then it was the first time I had an opportunity to lead a team of youth in an NGO project. And these kids were from all over the country, and I was young myself. I was hardly in my late 20s. So, as I had to lead this small team to do a lot of work on the field, that's when I understood what it takes to be a leader. Each one is different. Each one comes with their own education experience. Each one has a different perspective for things. 90% of the time, nobody would agree on whatever we had to do. And I had a wonderful experience for 6 months to be with them, and that's when I really had a practical grounding of how to manage things, how to be a leader, how to look at the individual needs, what motivates one person, what does not motivate the other person. So you cannot have one technique, so you cannot have one tool. And that is where I failed to come up with the best strategies. That failure very early in my life, in my career, I think it really helped me a lot. I had hardly a couple of tools in my toolkit. So, like they say, if you only have a hammer in your toolkit, every problem looks like a nail. You just go bang, bang, bang. Unfortunately, my mentors, the people who were around me in the NGO, all the people who had a lot of international experience, I used to go back to them and ask them, how do I go about doing this? And they were very open. They were very kind enough to give me the kind of inputs, to give me the kind of coaching on the job. So I really believe in on the job training. So the only way a leader can really evolve is to jump in, take a risk, understand what are the different challenges, and then also try to improvise and innovate as we go. That's how I learned over the next 10 years to pick up a lot of small tools from my toolkit. So the more tools I had in my toolkit, the more I was confident of taking the flight. Till then, I used to still be very low on confidence. I used to be very happy taking directions from someone because I was not confident. And the day I started realizing that people started to come to me and ask me, how do we go about doing this? Can you help me with this? Then I realized that without my own knowledge, I had started to grow and I had started to coach people. I was not at all just taking directions anymore. I was reaching out to people. I was giving them the support. I was giving them the coaching. I didn't realize that I was doing all these things. And then it just happened that the situation, the roles that I played in this NGO, those demands automatically taught me the tools of the trade. And that's how I understood what is leadership. It was mostly practical. And then I realized that, okay, this is what my style is. And this is how I need to use the tool for different people. So my antenna started becoming a little more sensitive. My communication started becoming a little more open. Instead of giving directions and taking directions, I started asking questions. And by asking questions, I could understand more. By communicating more effectively, I could lead people more effectively. I could make people see what is the vision that we need to align themselves with. So those small things, practically, I'm sure it would have taken a long time. Whatever MBA I did for 2 years, I'm sure over the next 20 years from the day I was thrust into that leadership position, I had learned things the hard way by practically on the job. So slowly, these things. Then the theory came. My MBA came at the age of 44 because I started talking too much of psychology language, and then most of the HR managers used to come back to me and say, "You talk too much of psycho lingo. So can you tailor it down and can you talk in terms of normal people in HR?" So fortunately, the MBA happened and a kind of retraining happened, and I was able to maybe like some of the time, pilots talk about altitude, these, that, and all that. So for the passenger, it is all Greek and Latin. Then I started talking the language that was easy for people to understand. So these are the things, the ability to be more sensitive, the ability to communicate better, the ability to question people and understand their needs, and how the engagement processes, even before the terms employee engagement and all came out. I'm talking about the late 80s and early 90s. So before many of the concepts became famous, we just had to do it, by keeping our nose, by keeping our ears open, by keeping our sensors, open, and then learning with the help of all the seniors. So I had varied experience from NGOs, from corporates, from educational institutions, from government institutions. So everywhere where I used to be called for a project, it used to be like a kind of a retraining all over again. So what worked in one place, what worked in one situation, what worked with one team, when we built another team, it often used to come a cropper. We used to have to come with different kind of experiences. So my takeoff, I can assure you, had been with lot of checks and double checks and getting down and getting on again and again, double checking. There was no manual, it was all on the job. And then I realized that yes, I was now ready to fly. So my pilot's wings did not come overnight. It took almost, I would say, 15, 16 years for me to think that yes, I am ready to take off now. Over to you.
Wonderful. As you rightly said, when we talk about our own learning curve, we learn a lot of things in the field. What is called on-job training, and one more aspect that you have highlighted is about the initial learning where you bound to get failed, but never get scared of the failure. Keep on learning and convert that failure into success. So that's a wonderful takeaway from your presentation. So over to Dr. Gautam. The focus is when we talk about compelling transformation plan, as we heard from Mr. Kumar Swami, how you as an expert in terms of carrying out personal transformation, the at a corporate and at a business level, based on your over 25 years of experience, how would like to relate in terms of bringing about the change in the job, career, life, and business. Over to you, Dr. Gautam.
Thank you, Suresh. I think thanks Muthu also for giving us a wonderful session and discussion relating to the transformation and leadership. Um it's a very interesting topic and very good question, Suresh. You have put it across. And see, there are two, three aspects are there when we talk about transformation and leadership, and your question to being on a pilot's role, how as a leader you transform yourself and organization. See, there's a very beautiful word of transformation in Hindi. We call it Rupantran. Though a lot of people they get confused this transformation with the word change. Transformation is not change. Transformation is a little bit of upgradation, modification, optimization. It is not change. So it has to be very clear when we talk about transformation. And transformation is a natural phenomenon. You see all the plants drop their leaves, and they have new leaves coming out in a season. Every year it happens. Similarly, for a human being, whether you are a leader or not, and why I'm saying is a leader or not, I am talking referring the titled leader. So whether you are a titled leader or not, transformation is mandatory. If you are not transforming, it means somewhere you are deteriorating, because things are not static in this world, and so the capability of an individual. So as a leader, you have to have a transformational person. If you are not a transformational guy or a person, it is doubtful that whether you are a leader or not. The second thing which I would like to say is the leadership. And when I say leadership, there is vast difference between being a leader and becoming a leader. Being a leader is your individual capability. It is your own being. And unless you know and discover who you are, it is very difficult to know and understand what you can create and contribute as a leader for yourself and for the people in your life, in your country, in your society, in your company, in your family. Becoming a leader is a altogether different process. By a process of certification, training, various qualification, you get into a certain position. And it is not necessary that all people who are sitting on the top position in a corporate or in a country are all a capable leader. There are people who are growing in the ladder by many means, and we have been all working in corporate, and we all see our political leader also, whether it is in country, society, country, or in corporate. Corporate politics is not less than any state or country politics. So, by the way or by the means you become a political leader, there are ways and means to become a corporate leader also. But what is the problem? The problem is like that if you are a leader who you have become a leader, you are not a leader by your own being, by your own being as a human being, you are not a leader, you don't have any capability of leadership. Then when you get the pilot seat, coming to your question, it becomes very difficult. And that is the reason you say many big company, multi-billionaire company, they crash like a plane. It takes hundred of years, 50 years, 20 years, 30 years to create an empire, and takes just a month or less than that to crash land and goes the company into the bankruptcy. Not only worldwide, you just see in India, 2018, 19, 17, 18, 19, I think, I don't remember the exact year. One law came called Insolvency and Bankruptcy Act in India. Thousands of company has become solvent, went into solvency and bankruptcy.
Yeah.
What they were doing earlier, are they not able to do the business? Yes, they were able to do the business. How they were able to do the business if their financial solvency is not there? It's a big question, and we can have another debate on this and discussion on this. But the people who have been managing those businesses, somehow the businesses was not in a proper leader positions or leadership role, or the person who was driving the company or sitting on the chair was not having the real leadership capability. And here it problems happens when a wrong person becomes a leader in an organization. In spite of bringing the transformation, he starts bringing the changes in the people, in the process, in the systems. And what happens ki, in order to bring this, he has to sacrifice many good people in the organization. He has to sacrifice the business, customers, suppliers, clients. Many things happens, and we have been all witnessing this in our prior experience. We have been 2 decades plus of experience in corporate. All of us, we have been working. So I always say that leadership is always your own being. How you are able to empower and transform your own being to create an opportunity or create an environment or create a work culture, if you are in corporate, where you allow people to get empowered, get trained, get transformed, and become many more future leaders. If these things are happening in your organization, if you are handling the pilot seat, then I can call the person is a transformational leader or the person is a true leader. If these things are not happening, then we have to see that whether the person is really capable of being called as a leader or not. And this is the Suresh biggest question we have. Even you are working in a big multinational companies. I have been working with big multinational company. I don't require to name it. See, everywhere, every peoples are not equally capable. Whether it is a world's leading company or it is a growing MSME of India, which is making a turnover of 100 crore, or you are a multi-billion-dollar company. Everywhere, this challenge and problems are there. And I totally believe, and as I was just saying that and discussing, I did around 7 years of research in people transformation, and I have discovered this: कि unless you transform a human being, you cannot transform his business or her business or his career or her career or his life or his life. So first, a leader has to be transformed. If the leader is not transformed, he or she cannot transform the business. Whatever position and profile he or she is holding in the organization. So, as a leader, you have to see the first of all, you have to get it transformed. In corporate, we all know that there is a process of getting your position upgraded by experience, by your contribution to the company, by many things. And there is the opportunity that you are able to grow into a leadership position. There is no harm in engaging a leadership coach who can able to add value in transforming and empowering you as a leader, where you can learn, understand, transform yourself, and create the future for your company, organization, your people, and yourself, where everybody can grow and prosper. And I was just saying that in India Coaching Federation, we have created many benchmarks. The peoples we are training and transforming here are almost highly qualified CXOs who have acquired all the certificates. No certificates are balanced. They are IIT, they are IIM, they are Harvard. उसके आगे कुछ बचा ही नहीं है, अब कहाँ जाए? But still they are not transformed. Those peoples are coming to us, and we are able to help them to transform their personality, help them discover their leadership, discover their oneself as a leader, and they are able to create great future for themselves and for the organization, and then they can be called as the real pilot. Otherwise, there are many pilots who has been trained, but they are not able to take off a plane in their lifetime. We know many of these pilots. Just a pilot certification program doesn't give makes you a pilot. Similarly, your certificates are the just receipt of the money you have paid to your institutions and MBA colleges to give you the qualification. It doesn't make you a leader. You have the capability to grow, understand, train, transform, and become a leader. That's all I would like to share about this. We can go longer, but we have to have a limitation of time, so we
Yes.
have to be in
Yes.
our limits, Suresh. Yeah,
Yes.
but
I just
We have
want to take
another.
30 seconds to kind of whatever resonated with me from
Yeah.
Dr. Gautam's words. He talked very clearly about what is change and what is transformation. One is external and the other is internal. And as he rightly said, it takes time for us to change our own traits because what we are born with, how we take the right kind of coaching, how we have the right kind of mentors, to be able to get the internal transformation going. Without that, I think any effort to fly and take your team along with you would be a big risk. So, wonderful points from Dr. Gautam.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you, doctor, and thank you, Mr. Muthukumar Swamy. The point is that we have another 3 minutes to go, but before we conclude, I would like to just highlight the basic takeaway and important significant aspects about what one can learn from Dr. Gautam's presentation. That in his exclusive, elaborative, response, I found Raleigh he has conducted a small orientation session about what is transformation and how a leader can really make use of transformation. So that's the strength, being the chairman of India Coaching Federation. And he has rightly said, because the best part, what we can learn from any certification, from any institution, is about the theory. But when it comes to practical, how to apply the theory into practical, with the kind of wisdom that we carry over the years, by getting ourselves associated with corporates at a different level. The key point, what I would like to say here, that yes, India Coaching Federation is really doing wonderful job because their foundation is based on the realistic approach. And that's what Dr. Gautam has also made it very clear this point. When we talk about the realistic approach, we always look at that what is the end result in mind. And those who are, in touch with India Coaching Federation, either as a student or those who are pursuing the, certification courses, they carry important element of learning. And that learning is a life realistic learning. So this is very important aspects. So this session would have really, go on, but we have a limitation of 30 minutes, and we have to close another 1.5 minutes to go. And what we say that today's guest, like Mr. Muthukumar Swamy, himself, he is a change and transformation coach, and he has done a lot of wonderful job. And it was such a best combination. On one hand, we have the chairman of India Coaching Federation, who himself is a subject matter expert in the topic of transformation at an individual level as well as at the corporate level. And we also have our guest who is also, by virtue of his niche, is into change and transformation, coach. So this is very significant. And of course, being a host, I would also add one point that yes, I'm also being a business transformation coach. So it was just, a perfect alignment of the people who are looking forward to transform the world in their own wisdom, in their own area of experience and expertise. So thank you very much, Dr. Gautam, for your explanatory, the process, the way you have explained. And even today, people are understanding the significant role being played by, India Coaching Federation. and more people probably would be interested. And this is our fourth episode of a talk show, and we'll continue this, as an endeavor, as a part of our navigation map to reach out to maximum coaches, because it's not about getting certification, as Dr. Gautam has rightly said, but how you apply. Because again, being a coach and to becoming a coach, like being a leader and becoming a leader, there's a sea difference, and that difference, that gap can be breached none other than India Coaching Federation, by virtue of his the expertise. And we have a lot of expert coaches who are ready to support the corporate in terms of taking care of their learning and development requirement, to ensure that leadership development at the corporate level, at the business entrepreneurship level, can also be taken care of. So thank you very much once again, Dr. Gautam, for your detailed explanation, orientation, and our today's guest, Mr. Muthukumar Swamy. We have really immensely enjoyed, and our big thank you to the viewers for devoting their quality time, and we'll keep on this journey with this endeavor and keep this learning process live in days to come. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Suresh. Thank you all. Thank you, viewers. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.